Welcome to Amazon Legends, where we have real stories about making it big on Amazon. Our guests are CEOs of large companies and entrepreneurs who became power sellers, also providers specializing in helping sellers, aggregators that acquire sellers, and former Amazonians will give us an insight from behind the scenes. Here is your host, Nick Uresin.
Welcome to another episode of Amazon Legends. My next guest today has been working with Amazon sellers for the past 6 years. She's the kind of person where people throw all the complicated stuff that they don't want to deal with. It's too complex, and that's what she does, and she's well conditioned with all the difficult stuff. She's the account manager at Page One, which is a full-service Amazon agency. And when she's not working, she likes nature, running, and personal growth, and also spending time with her 8-year-old daughter. And by the way, she's also a military wife. So she knows what it's like to make sacrifice. So with that, everybody, meet my guest, Shivapriya Deepak. Welcome to the show, Shivapriya.
Thank you for having me in your show.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to have real fighters in this Amazon business. Yeah, right. So, so for those who are listening, we've got a real action-packed episode for you in the sense that we're going to share stuff that is the Amazon features. You don't have to pay anything. And these are features that are underutilized but have high value. So we're going to go through them one by one, and Shivapriya is going to share with us what they are and how to use them. So with that, let's dive right in. So what is the first thing, Shivapriya, that you would say as the most important that every seller must pay attention to?
So there are some common mistakes done by sellers. Even big brands make these mistakes while setting up the brand registry. I generally don't recommend launching your products before having your brand registry done, because you won't be able to have your detail page very retail ready with A+ content and all that. But sometimes, you would have just got your trademark done, your brand registry is underway, and you are in some kind of rush to launch your product, for whatever reason that is. So in that case, you have to keep in mind of few things regarding the brand registry. So brand registry, it is generally case and space sensitive. What does that mean when I say that? Say if you are registering your brand argometrix, for example, you registered with all letters in uppercase. You have to keep in mind to list your products with the exact same brand name in the seller central. Suppose if you list your items with just A in uppercase, or there is some gap between ergo and metrics, and you've launched the product, the ASIN is live on Amazon catalog, and you get your brand registry done in a month or so later, thinking that you will get all the brand benefits later on. But it won't work that way, because technically now you have a different brand name. It is all uppercase in the brand registry setup, but it is kind of different spelling or different space, or the uppercase, lowercase. So it won't identify as a registered brand. So you will lose all the brand benefits. So always keep in mind to plan your brand name properly, make a note of it, and provide the exact brand name to whoever that is listing your products in the seller central, to make sure that it is all mapped correctly. So it is not just small private label sellers, even big brands make such mistakes, because some brands they even have 2 to 3 permutations of their brand names registered with different cases, the space and everything, and they use kind of different names for different listings. And at the end, when they come to agencies like us, it is very difficult for us to get all this cleaned up and have all the listings updated to one singular brand name to reflect everything properly. Because sellers, I think they're not educated on these things. They're not aware. They don't pay much details, attention to the details. So I think it is very important to keep in mind all these things before you set up your brand registry and set up your listings with the correct exact name as in the brand registry.
Yeah. I mean, this is key, because at the end of the day, yes, if you are selling on Amazon, you have fundamentally two different business models. One is you're a reseller, you're buying stuff that already sells, or you're building a new brand. And if you don't get your brand registry act together, and then you create your brands incorrectly, then there is no value without really going through a lot of work. And a lot of work involves going back and forth with Seller Central, seller support, which is not the easiest thing. And frankly, it's not easy anyway, because really, let's face it, that's one thing Amazon really is not good at, providing support for sellers. But also, they are there to protect the brand. So they don't want to make changes to listings, to brand registry information, without really understanding fully that the changes are legitimate. So this is very big deal. So let's quickly review everything that you said. So I'm gonna put it kind of in a more clear sequence of events and the specifics, and then you tell me if this is correct. First and foremost, what I've heard you mention is first set up your brand registry account before you set up your Seller Central account. That means signing up, right? Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. So make sure that you set up your brand registry account first. Create your, of course, that will become your primary account that you'll be logging in with. You will be automatically assumed to be the owner of the brand. And then after that, you can delegate other people and give them access to be additional users on that brand registry. Step one. Step two is go create your Seller Central account. And when you do that, make sure you use the same email address that you used for setting up the brand registry, right? Would you agree?
Yes, I agree. And if in some cases you don't see your brand name on the Seller Central, that is, if it is not mapped correctly, you can raise a case from the brand registry portal, giving your merchant token ID from your Seller Central merchant token ID, and raise a case to, in the brand registry portal, asking them to just link your Seller Central account properly. So sometimes what happens is that you don't see all the brand benefits, the brand menu option on your Seller Central account, in spite of you having the brand registry set up. So in that case, it means that the account is not mapped correctly. You don't see the brand benefits on your Seller Central account. So you just have to go and raise a case in the brand registry portal, giving your merchant token ID, so that they make it happen for you.
Yeah. So this also is a fairly recent addition to brand registry, because in the early days, they did not have that capability. So people would set up a brand registry account after setting up a Seller Central account, and then the two would exist in isolation. And so they would simply be seen as the reseller of the items they were listing. And so Amazon made this addition to brand registry. You can actually link your Seller Central account with your brand registry account afterwards. But if you don't want to get into that, the easiest way is make sure that your brand registry account is done first. And then if that's the case, you use the same primary user account to create your Seller Central account. That way the two become linked. If that's not the case, just go ask and use the feature you have in Amazon Brand Registry. So then the next thing that you mentioned is after you have your trademark registration.
Yes.
First of all, that's the trademark on record. Now, that's going to be the official trademark. You have to set up the same trademark on brand registry, exactly the same, case sensitive, make sure it's one word and or two words.
It can be two words also, but it is space sensitive. We just have to keep in mind about the space. We just have to use the exact same name in the same fashion on Amazon listings.
Okay, so you're referring to the brand value that is submitted when you create a listing, right? So you must match that exactly to what is on brand registry, and then also obviously that matches to the trademark. So any variations of it, even slight, uppercase, lowercase differences will make it reseller, right?
Yeah, it doesn't recognize it as a registered brand name.
Okay, so that's very valuable. Okay, so let's now talk about what if it's not done that way. So let's say that somebody made a mistake, and we already talked about how to link Seller Central to brand registry. If it's not done the right way, you can use the feature. But what if they created their listings and they realize that they did it all wrong, and the listing has been selling, they don't want to delete, they use the UPC, so they're stuck with it. So how do they deal with fixing it?
So the step one is you can try doing a full update through flat files. So what you have to do is you have to delete the listing and relist it after 24 hours using the proper brand name through flat files and do a full update. So most of the times this works, but sometimes it doesn't work. The brand name doesn't change at all, because brand name is one entity that cannot be changed once the listing is set up easily. So if it doesn't work, if your luck is bad and the full update doesn't work, you have to go back to the brand registry support and raise a case, request them, and they will 99% they will deny that. They will say that no, this product is set up with this particular name, and if you have to have the brand name updated, you need to submit a lot of proof saying that you have changed the name in your website and all that. All that unnecessary, going back and forth with the brand registry support and all that happens. It's a long fight generally with the brand registry support. You have to just make them understand that you have genuinely done a mistake, that you were ignorant, that you were not aware of all this stuff, and lots of going back and forth basically. Eventually, I have had a success in getting the brand name changed most of the time, but it just takes time. It just takes persistence and lots of patience to put up with the brand registry support and all that.
So, but something you said that's interesting.
But
so
the step one, I always try to delete the ASIN and relist it after 24 hours, because when you give the 24 hours gap, everything that is on the Amazon catalog, it generally overwrites the information, the new information that you provide again after 24 hours. It generally overwrites, but brand name is one entity that it is very difficult to change once you have set up your listing. So that is why I say, make no mistakes in first place. But if in case you have made a mistake, it is possible to have the brand name changed, but it just takes a long fight.
Okay. So this is the case where your brand name that you submitted with the listing is wrong. It does not match what's in brand registry. So, and you're trying to change it and make it match what's on brand registry. So what I heard you mention is you don't go to seller support, you go to brand registry support, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Why not?
You have to raise a case through brand registry, because eventually if you raise a case in the Seller Central support, they will assign it back to brand registry support.
I see.
Because anything that is related to the brand name, it is dealt by the brand registry support.
So that means that even though it's related to listing, if the flat file doesn't work, after deleting and waiting for 24 hours and submitting with the correct one, it doesn't work. Well, by the way, share with us what happens if you submit the flat file and you have the correct brand. Of course, you're going to submit the same UPC. What happens then if they come back and because they're going to, does the listing get created, or what do you get when you do that submission?
The ASIN remains the same. Everything that you had earlier, all the reviews, rating, your ASIN number, nothing gets changed. You will still have the same ASIN back again.
I see. So your submission basically goes nowhere.
No, yeah. I mean, your ASIN doesn't get changed. You will not lose anything. You will have all your sales rank, ASIN reviews, and nothing get lost anywhere.
Okay. How about any inventory you have?
Inventory, it still remains. All the FBA inventory, for the period of time, the 24 hours that you don't have your listing, the inventory becomes stranded, of course. So once you have the listing back again, the inventory automatically becomes available.
Okay. So you are going to see your listing back, and it's with no changes, and brand is still
whatever changes that you have made, the brand name changes or the listing content like bullet points or product description, whatever changes you have submitted through the flat file, it gets through.
Yeah. And
but changing the brand name doesn't, it's not a 100% guaranteed success rate with the flat file. So it's generally step one. I try through the flat file method. If it doesn't work, we have to raise a case.
Okay. And then after that, go straight to brand registry. Don't bother with seller support. And with brand registry support,
you can go to seller support, but eventually they will assign it to the brand registry support.
Okay. And with brand registry support, you have to explain you made a mistake, admit all the wrongdoing, and say you want it changed. Okay. Well, this is valuable information, and saves, hopefully, it will take a long time, but hopefully it will save some of the time that you may end up wasting without reading. Okay, cool. Okay, next thing that you see as a common problem for private label sellers, but they don't know how to deal with it. Share with us what the next thing is.
Counterfeit sellers are another very common problem dealt by most of the private label sellers. So again, brand registry is very crucial to get rid of your private counterfeit sellers. This is very simple. So that is this report a violation tool on the home page of your brand registry dashboard. So all you have to do is go there, enter your ASIN number, submit an IP violation by choosing the particular seller's name. So they usually act on it within an hour. Like it's mostly very instant. So the seller will be banned from selling any of your brand registered item in Amazon in future. Again, brand registry also offers this new program. It's relatively new. It's called Transparency Program. Transparency is product serialization service. So what happens is Amazon generates a transparency code for every item that you enroll in their program. So each code is unique. It's more like a barcode. And you have to stick it to every unit that you manufacture. So if someone wants to sell their products on your listing, they need to provide this transparency code, and it will be verified by Amazon before their offer is made live. So it is just to make sure that every product that is going to the buyers is genuine and there is no counterfeit products, because you are the manufacturer and you are putting the transparency code on every single unit that you manufacture. But it comes with a little cost. There is a cost involved. It can cost anywhere between 1 to 5 cents per code. But if you are majorly dealing with a lot of counterfeit, sellers in the market, it is worth it. It is totally worth it. But I have to make this a point. You have to remember that brand registry is only to get rid of the counterfeit sellers. They don't help you to get rid of the genuine resellers selling on your products, on your listing. Because, for Amazon, they are also, Amazon welcomes all resellers, right? Because it is, end of the day, it is business for them. If you want to get rid of the resellers, those who are selling your genuine products, you need to make that happen outside of Amazon. Like, you need to establish an agreement with your distributors to, restrict them from selling on Amazon, because Amazon and brand registry support, they don't help with getting rid of the resellers. It only helps you to get rid of the counterfeit sellers.
Yeah.
So
okay. So Shivapriya, this is a very deep subject, and it hurts, especially large brands. And you just mentioned 3 different things, and I want to dig into each one. So the first one is the easiest one: counterfeit. What is the definition of counterfeit? Counterfeit seller. So the definition of counterfeit seller is another seller who is selling your item under your listing as an additional seller. First of all, these are easy to spot in the sense that it's your listing. You created it. You own it. It's your label, unless you know for a fact that there are other resellers, that you have distributors, you have supply chain. Unless that's the case, there should be no reason other than you to be on your listing. So when you spot another seller, that's bound to be a counterfeit. However, there is an exception. If you also have a B2B pricing setup on Amazon, and one day you decided that you're going to offer a deep discount to collect reviews or whatever the case may be, and you sold in bulk, and you also did not set up a maximum quantity for purchase to each buyer, what can happen is some people who have an Amazon business account, they can go make a purchase for large quantities under your B2B pricing using the additional discounts that Amazon business program offers them. And then they stock up on your product, and then they undercut you on your listing. They will be legitimate sellers because they're not selling something else. It's your item. That becomes a more complicated situation to deal with. So I'm just going to say that as a side note, keep that in mind. However, if you do not have resellers through a distribution program, through a supply chain or anything like that, then there should be nobody else selling your item on the listing. Then you go to brand registry, and there is an option there for reporting a violation. And I have seen it happen instantly. As soon as you submit, it gets removed. I have seen it come up showing under review, and then that review typically takes about a day or so. And then I have seen it come up as under review, and then with a response, we have declined your request, because they reach out to sellers and the seller produces documents, and then they become convincing enough for brand registry to say, okay, they seem to be legitimate, and then they will decline it. And then that takes, sometimes that under review takes 3 days. If something comes back and it's declined, you can file an appeal against it. and you can say, we want to appeal because this is still not, and then submit. So tell me about the appeal, what your thoughts are.
Yeah, you can still escalate even after the brand registry rejects your violation. You can still escalate, and if your case seems to be genuine, they will definitely remove it. Because what happens is when you report a violation, a brand registry sends a notice to the particular seller saying the so-and-so seller has submitted a violation on your account. So the seller can always fight it back. If they have a genuine invoice or something, if they can prove that, I'm selling a genuine product, it's not a counterfeit. So they can always go and prove their side. And if that happens, as you said, they decline, they don't take your violation into consideration, they just reject it. But still, you can go back and escalate if you still are sure, pretty sure that there is no way that there can be any reseller for your particular brand. You can escalate it and prove your side.
Yeah. Okay. I have a quick word from our this week's sponsor.
Channeled is a marketplace and e-commerce partner for growing D2C brands. Our senior team provides a more comprehensive approach to marketplace management, including channel P&L, proven strategies, and better execution. We use a data-driven approach for full funnel Amazon ads, including DSP. Get a free account audit and a $1,500 bill credit during your first 3 months if you partner with Channeled. Visit channeled.net/argometrix to learn more.
There is a situation where you are operating a supply chain where you have distributors and you have wholesalers that are buying directly from you. Then they are obviously legitimate sellers,
Yes.
and then they are also deciding to sell on Amazon, and you may go into competition with them on your listing. There isn't much you can do in that case, except that your agreement with them must clearly state that they are not allowed to sell on Amazon.
Yeah.
If that is the case, then there's nothing Amazon is going to do for you. In that case, you have to go directly, and then you have to serve a cease and desist order, and then take legal action, cut off their supply, or whatever you can do within the confines of that agreement you have between you and them. Otherwise, one practice is MAP policy. If you I would suggest operating a MAP policy, and then if they violate all those things. So tell us what your take is to putting up that fight. Does that usually pay off, or you're really stuck with them? What is your experience?
Yeah, even with the MAP price setup, you tend to lose the buy box often to other sellers on your listings. So you are, in some way or the other, you are at loss. So it is always the best practice to have a clear agreement with all your distributors. If in case you don't want any of them selling on Amazon, you have to set up a proper agreement with all your distributors, preventing them to sell on Amazon or any other marketplace like eBay or anything else. But if you're going the MAP price way, it is safe, but again, you tend to lose the buy box. If you and the other seller are selling at the same pricing, the buy box gets shared, right? You don't always have the 100% buy box percentage. So you are at some point, you lose some sales.
Yeah. Okay. Now I want to talk about the transparency program. So first of all, just for the listeners' benefit, you can look up transparency program. But basically, transparency program makes every single item you sell just like prepaid calling cards. So every single prepaid calling card has a PIN number that's unique to that card. It doesn't work on other cards. So even though you have your UPCs on your products, that UPC is the exact same UPC on every single piece. But when you use the transparency program, you are simply putting a different code on
it's a unique code.
Right. And Amazon will sell you however many you want if
Yes.
you want to join the transparency program, right?
Yeah, 100%. So it is a unique code. Each and every code is unique, and every time that you send your inventory to FBA, Amazon scans and confirms that it is a genuine product.
Okay, so now this obviously, because Amazon is issuing the transparency code, they know it's, so if somebody else fakes the UPC code, or they go, you can take a product and then put your own UPC code on it by registering as a manufacturer, and that's going to make it a legitimate UPC, and therefore a different product. Then they cannot sell it under your brand. They would have to simply create a different listing. It basically loses the brand advantage. So if it's your brand, by using transparency codes, you're going to make sure that since Amazon is issuing the transparency codes, they will know exactly this is legit. However, now you need to have internal systems, right? Yeah. When you buy UPC codes, it's easy. You just plug them all into an Excel sheet, and then as you assign them to your items, you can simply make a note. But now, if you produce 100,000 pieces, you're going to have 100,000 transparency codes, right?
Yes, exactly. So it is not for small sellers. If you're not dealing with a huge number of counterfeit sellers, it's not worth it. It's a huge hassle.
Yeah, now you're gonna have another inventory management of all the
one additional steps.
Yeah. So people often mention transparency codes as a solution, but it actually creates a much bigger problem. Because if you don't do this right, even though you send products yourself, your shipments will also be rejected, right?
Yeah, you run into that risk.
Yeah, so just be careful. And we're not here to get into the details of transparency code. We're just here to share some ideas. We definitely, for those who are facing tremendous problems with counterfeit sellers, and have the extra budget to buy transparency codes,
yes.
And most important, have the systems in place to track every code for every unit produced.
Track and manage, yeah.
Then this may be an option for you. Okay. I have something important for all my listeners. Sellers lose money on lost or damaged inventory with Amazon, which can add up to a lot over a year. Did you know that there is a way to claim all your losses? GETIDA is the global leader in Amazon FBA auditing and reimbursements for Amazon FBA sellers worldwide. They deliver results with no upfront costs. They get paid only when you get paid. Visit www.getida.com/legends to learn more and sign up. And thanks to our friends at GETIDA, your first $400 in reimbursements will be free. That's www.getida.com/legends. And that's www.getida.com/legends. Now let's talk about the third one, legitimate resellers.
Mm-hmm.
And illegitimate resellers. In other words, those resellers who buy your product, they are selling your product, but you don't know them. You have no idea who they are.
Yeah.
So there's two categories under resellers, legitimate ones, illegitimate ones. Or let's call them unauthorized, authorized and unauthorized. Authorized resellers, we already covered. So you better make sure that you have an agreement that says that they can't sell on Amazon, and if they can, it's an external situation. But how about the unauthorized resellers? What do you do about them?
Yeah, you mean those resellers that buy their that source their products from the distributors, right? So there is like indirect sourcing. They're not
Yes.
buying stuff directly from you. They are sourcing it from somewhere, someone else that is getting the items from you. They are still selling the legitimate items, but they're not unauthorized. But you know what? Amazon encourages resellers. The brand registry won't help you to get rid of such resellers, because at the end of the day, they are also selling the legitimate items. So what you can do is you can just do a test buy and confirm if it is a legitimate item or not. If it is not, you can go through the brand registry and get them removed. But if it is, you have to get in touch with them. You have to identify from where they are sourcing their products. They must be getting from one of the distributors to whom you have the agreement with. So you need to go back and trace them, find out from whom they are sourcing the items and get an agreement in place with them.
Okay.
Otherwise, it could be the case that they might have bought it off Amazon as a B2B buyer. The case that you mentioned, it could be that way as well.
Yeah. So in the case of buying from Amazon, Amazon will know. And so that's a more gray area. But the case of unauthorized resellers who buy from third parties,
yes,
who may be authorized. Now, there is a situation here that, again, we're not here to give advice, legal advice especially, but as best practices. There is one thing that Amazon cares the most about, and that is the customer experience.
Yeah.
So anytime you are a manufacturer and you make a product and then you offer it, it comes with certain warranties. Now,
yes,
in order for a manufacturer to honor that warranty, the first requirement is that it's a legitimate product. It's an authentic product. So as a seller, as a manufacturer of a product, if you suspect somebody to be selling maybe the same item, but you're not sure, then you are, as a result, not sure whether or not you should honor the warranty. So therefore, you can ask Amazon's help to validate that this was an authentic purchase on their part in order for you to be able to honor the warranty claims for
exactly.
Amazon customers. And then they will come to your help. And one thing that I've been able to get success in is, even though these resellers produced invoices from, because Amazon will say, okay, is this invoice for their purchase of the source products third-party verifiable? So if
yes.
a reseller produces a third-party verifiable commercial invoice, they are likely to deny your claim.
Yes, it is still a legitimate item, and it is still, manufacturer's warranty is still applicable.
So
right?
The case I made successfully was this. I said, first of all, since we are the manufacturer, we have to honor the warranty claims. Warranty, replacement, we have these policies that apply to this product. And we can only offer that to authentic products. Yes, we understand this seller produced a third-party verifiable commercial invoice, but third-party verifiable commercial invoice only proves that he made a legitimate purchase. It does not prove the authenticity of the product. He may have legitimately purchased counterfeit products.
Yes.
We can only verify the product in terms of its authenticity. We cannot authenticate the product by way of seeing a third-party verifiable invoice.
Correct.
So therefore, we are not able to honor any warranty or replacement claims by Amazon customers for products that are supplied by this reseller.
Yeah.
So therefore, we ask for this reseller to be removed. We don't know them. They haven't bought from us. They're not authorized to sell. And they only have an invoice which doesn't prove the product they are selling is authentic.
Yeah.
So therefore, and they successfully, granted the claim and removed the reseller. So,
Great.
so that's something that I can share with but it's a very fine situation. By the way, if you have 10 resellers, as soon as you file this, Amazon is going to remove them anyway. So
Yes.
only a few that may fight it may be an issue. Okay. All right. So think about this situation. I don't know. It may work for others, but it's something that seems to have worked for us. So let's move on to the third one. What else do you use that Amazon offers free of charge that gets underutilized?
Premium A Plus it has recently become free of cost, but I still don't see many sellers making use of it. So the Premium A Plus is kind of same as the standard A Plus. It goes in the same space, the same place. It is just an infographic styled enhanced media content with more interactive modules than what you have in your standard A Plus content. Having A Plus content is super important now because it is not 2015 anymore, right? Because we know that shoppers they don't read much of the text that you put out there. We are all visual beings, and we would like to be communicated visually. And premium A Plus content, it used to cost $250,000 earlier, and only big brands like say the likes of Nike, Bose, Sony, all these big brands used to have access to it, or it was available for Launchpad. But now that Amazon has made it free, I think every seller should make use of that. And there are some prerequisites for premium A Plus content. One is number one is you need to have the brand registry. That is quite obvious. Number two is you need to have a brand story set up. And the three is you need to have at least 15 standard A Plus projects approved. So here is the catch, right? It doesn't mean that you need to have at least 15 ASINs to have 15 A Plus content approved. It is just that 15 projects approved. So even if you have 1 or 2 SKUs, you can just keep submitting new A Plus projects repeatedly, until you get 15 approved. So I know it will take a long time because every single A Plus project takes about a couple of weeks to get approved. But what I'm trying to say is it is still possible, even if you are a very small seller with just 1 or 2 SKUs, it is still possible to get access, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. And Premium A Plus has a few interesting modules. There are some interactive modules like videos and image carousel slider, interactive hover over hotspots, and the comparison chart which you have, the table which you have in Premium A Plus is slightly different than the standard A Plus. There is a Q&A module. There are lots of interesting modules in Premium A Plus content, which I think it will make a huge difference.
Yeah. Premium A Plus is making a big difference, and Amazon claims that it lifts your conversion rate 10 to 15%. So nobody knows. I am a big, supporter of Premium A+. So this obviously is something that anybody who has one listing, that's enough for you to get Premium A+. You can just go and create new projects and submit it and just set up your schedule on your calendar. So submit a new one for every few days. So that way you'll have, once you have the 15, you can apply and Amazon will approve you. So then you can start building this Premium A+. Okay, so the next one is when you and I you mentioned a couple of things that I want to cover quickly. One is how you use the Amazon posts.
Yes, Amazon post is another underutilized tool, I would say. So post is it is one of the inexpensive ways of driving traffic to your product detail page and also to your storefront. So post is, it is nothing but Amazon's own Instagram, where you can post pictures of your products, tag the essence, and when the buyers click, it will take them to your product detail page. So it is a nice way to grab buyers' attention. So you can actually make use of all your social media content, because these days every brand has their social media presence, right? So you can just reuse and recycle the same images that you use for your social media, or you can even edit something simple using Canva. So it is almost inexpensive. Like you don't have to make it really very complicated. So your potential buyers, they will find your post either on your listings or it appears on your competitors' listings. So I would say, like, if you are posting consistently and if you have established a strong brand personality, you can easily grow your brand followers on Amazon for free of cost. These days it is very important to have more followers on Amazon, because the more followers you have, the better it is for running campaigns like manage your customer engagement and such. At any cost, it is it is just a free traffic that you're driving.
Yeah.
And
so where does it appear when you create Amazon posts?
Sorry?
Where does it appear, the posts that you create? Where are they shown?
Yeah, it will show on your product detail page. Like when you scroll down, it will just appear on the bottom of your product detail page, and it will also appear on your competitors listing. Basically, it is just scattered everywhere in the category. So
okay, so this is almost like advertising, right? So it's like running ads, except it's free.
Yes, it is almost like advertising.
And also, you can become a follower of your feed, because that's your feed essentially running across your competition, across your own product pages.
Yes, exactly. And you can also download the report from the post dashboard. You can see how many clicks you have got on your product detail page, how many clicks you have got on your storefront, and the number of followers that each post has got. This will help you to figure out what works best for your brand and what kind of images doesn't work for your brand. So eventually you will be able to strategize better regarding the pictures and the captions and everything.
Yeah. Okay. And the last one is you're visualizing your listing. In other words, comparing how it looks in desktop versus how it looks in mobile. Because these days, if you are selling heavily consumer-leaning products versus business products, most of it is purchased on mobile, right? So
yes.
Share with us how to utilize that feature.
Yeah, so as you said, like 80% of the traffic, it comes from your mobile app, not from the desktop browser. So when you're designing something, be it A plus content or your storefront, keep in mind to design it for the mobile and then see how it looks on the desktop. You kind of need to work it backwards, because there are some A plus modules that look very different on the mobile than on the desktop. For example, we were talking about the premium A plus content. So for example, if you have a video on your premium A plus, when you are viewing it on the mobile, it kind of blacks out the whole screen and it plays just your video. It doesn't give you a good user experience, I would say, because when you hit back, you have to like scroll it all the way down to go back to where you were earlier. But on the desktop, it just plays on the screen within your A plus itself. So it doesn't take you to an outer world and bring you back there. So likewise, there is this multiple image module in your standard A plus, which we don't generally use because of how horrible it looks on the mobile screen. It just leaves a lot of white space on the mobile. The text shows up in an awkward place. The images appear very small, and overall it doesn't look very pleasant at all. So that's why, like, before you put together your design, you got to make sure to see how well it looks on your mobile before you check it for the desktop.
Yeah. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. Most people are making their buying decisions on that. They're looking at your product, they're deciding to buy or not to buy. It's all on the smartphone. And the
Yes.
smartphone, not every single smartphone comes with a big screen. And also by design, things don't look the same. And by the way, Amazon deliberately shows some of the content in a different place. Yes. When it's viewed on a mobile phone. For example, the bullets appear under the A plus.
Yes.
But when it's on a smartphone, but if you look at it on a desktop, it's right next to the product pictures, right? So, okay, very important point. Well, this has been very useful and very good conversation on counterfeit, which is everybody's problem. So thank you for sharing all this. I call this wisdom, because this is, you don't hear these things from people who just run the business. This is all from the people in the trenches. So thank you. I want to now move on to the part where I'd like to get to know you better, so that listeners can see where the person that they've been listening to is coming from. So tell us, first, start from the beginning. Where did you grow up?
So I'm born and brought up in India. I still live in India. So I'm guessing I'm probably the first Indian to appear in your show, right?
No, you're not. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
You're not even a first Indian woman who appeared on us. Really? So, one thing I'm going to say, and I thought it was totally the other way, but women from India are extremely independent and extremely knowledgeable, and I find them extremely authoritative.
Nice to hear.
Yeah, I mean, put them next to men. Whatever women say, men listen to. That's what I've seen. So don't discount yourself. It's very put it this way: the information you shared with everybody is unique. But I did have other guests who were from India, and you guys are knowledgeable. So tell us how. Share with us some of your early experiences growing up in India.
So, I did my bachelor's in engineering, and I was working with HP as a business intelligence consultant. And then life happened. I got married to my husband, who is in the military. So I had to quit my job at one point to move in with them because military deployments are usually very far away from the city, and I couldn't just continue with my corporate work and everything because this is back in 2013, like 10 years back. The remote job was not quite a norm. This is like pre-COVID era, I would say. So and then like I started my family life, had a baby, and then the regular stuff. But I soon fell into depression because life as a military wife is not easy as such. And also I started feeling like I have lost my identity. I've lost my job. I've lost like who I was. Like life totally had changed. I would say like women have to be financially independent, no matter what your family background is, no matter who your husband or your father is. You have to have your own career. You have to be financially independent. Like we know, we have seen the pandemic. We have been through everything. Like we know how unpredictable this life is. We can't just depend on anybody to provide for us, right? So I was quite depressed that I don't have a career anymore. So by then I had about 4 years of break in my career. And then in 2017, I decided to get back to workforce somehow. So I was so desperate. I tried my hands at many things. I just didn't see myself fit into the software industry again. So I was trying out many different things, and by chance I entered into the e-commerce in 2017, and it was a full-time remote position as well. So I was quite happy. So I initially started as a copywriter, and then I worked my way through other operations. So yeah, that's how today I work as an accounts manager in Page One.
So how did you get out of that feeling depressed?
So it was quite hard because I have done my bachelor's in engineering, right? I have put in lots of hard work to study and get to where I was, and then suddenly I had to quit everything. Like I love my husband, but so life has totally changed. I have lost everything that I had, so it was quite very depressing. So after some 3 or 4 years, I decided, so no matter what happens, I have to somehow get back to working, because it doesn't matter how much you earn. That financial independence, that freedom that you get is very important, especially as a woman. It is very, very empowering, and I believe that it is a bigger strength, and it can change anything.
So there are two things here in play, right? So it makes it hard to feel good. One is your life has changed.
Yeah.
You have a whole different lifestyle. The second thing is now you are financially dependent.
Yes.
And the two together, they work together to keep you down, right? So it's so how did you manage to actually get up and say, no, I'm changing this? Because that depression ultimately is draining your energy, and you don't want to do anything. You resign, everything that you do. So how do you get out of it? How did you do it?
It's all about figuring out what your needs are, what your wants are, because at that point in time, I also had a baby. My husband was far away. We were just struggling to, get the basics done, because as a military wife, life is quite very different from what a civilian have. So it's all about getting to the depth of it, understanding yourself, what makes you really happy, what is really lacking in your life, what you really need at that point in time to make yourself happy, what makes you feel fulfilled, and all that. And my answer was, I had to get back to work. And that was my major lack at that moment. So it's what it is. So once you bridge the gap, you will eventually come out of it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, this is, what happened here, the way I see it is your engineering, training paid off because you analyzed step by step and then tried to do something about it, and ultimately you did it. So it's a great story, and I have to take my hat off to you. So we are all depressed from time to time, and it's not easy to get out of it. So
yes, mental health issues are not spoken about, and it's time to change that.
Yeah. And you staying that way 3-4 years, it takes quite a beating on the human soul. So I take my hat off to you completely as a woman, as someone who has gone through it and made it successfully, and you've gotten where you've gotten not easily, put it that way. You put up a good fight. Thank you, Shivapriya. So share with us your contact information. How can people reach you?
So you can find me on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn name is Shivapriya Deepak. You can just find me on LinkedIn, and I have all my basic contact details put up in my LinkedIn profile.
Great. And we'll obviously share your contact information with everybody on the site, and check out her profile. As you've heard, she has the answers. So you have the questions, she has the answers. Reach out to her, and also her agency, Page One, is an agency that does a good job. Yes. So reach out anytime. Thank you, Shivapriya. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me in the show.
Thank you. Before we wrap up, don't forget to visit www.getida.com/legends to learn more and sign up to claim money for your lost or damaged inventory with Amazon. Your first $400 in reimbursements will be free. www.getida.com/legends, and that's www.getida.com/legends. Also, don't forget to visit www.channeled.net/argometrix to get a free account audit and a $1,500 bill credit. You will join the hundreds of DTC brands they have helped reach their goals. The address is www.channeled.net/argometrix. That's CHANNELED.net/argometrix. And this brings us to the end of another episode, and I'll see you on the next one.
If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, rate, and review the episode, and share it with someone you think would benefit from it too.